Now, this is something that has been talked about and written about by people like me and so many others who research this in America for years and years and years and years. And now it's actually going through Capitol Hill as legislation. But that's just there for official sanction. They've been being developed for bloody decades. So this is what we're looking at now, and it's no time for pussyfooting around. If you want to go into denial and laugh, okay, laugh. You can laugh right until there's a knock on your door. In fact, if you laugh and you dismiss it and you do everything that you're told like good little children, then you won't have a problem. You won't have a mind. You won't have the ability to make any decisions of your own that are unacceptable to the state in any area of your lives. Fine. If you want that, keep laughing. If you don't want it, get informed and get your arse off the bloody chair and let's get this sorted, because we haven't got long left to do it.
Just to come back to one of the things you were saying, I heard you say about traffic wardens becoming civil enforcement officers.
Yeah.
So I wasn't aware of that. I went out, found a traffic warden, lo and behold, civil enforcement officers. Now, whenever I've seen them, they're all civil enforcement officers.
Well, let me tell you a story about this. It was about, I mentioned earlier, they want a war, right?
Yeah.
And not only do they want a war, they want other things that are going to need law enforcement in a different way that they have now. I got contacted by this traffic warden in England who reads my books. This was about, would it be early 2008 maybe? And he said that he had a very strange thing happen to him. He was called into his boss's office. They were called traffic wardens in those days, and of course their only job was to give fines out for illegal parking and all that stuff. The boss had given him 3 cards. One was a card that gave him the official right to be a traffic warden, fair enough. The second card was what they call a pace card. This is the card that carries the words that a police officer has to say when he's arresting someone. You do not have to say anything, but if you do not, all that stuff. The third card was permission and authority for the traffic warden to enter private property without permission.
Just to come in and just say...
Yeah, without permission. He says to the boss, what do I need this for? I'm a traffic warden. His boss said, I don't know. Take him home till further notice. A few days later, the traffic warden is with a group of others outside the police station in the town, the county town. And an old friend of his comes out the police station and they start chatting, the traffic wardens and him, and then after a while the friend, the police officer, calls the traffic warden who contacted me aside on his own. And he said, I've got something to tell you. And he said 4 or 5 times in the conversation, you must not tell anybody. He said, I'm telling you because you're a friend. He said, I'm doing a job in this county and there's someone like me in every county of Britain. And our job is to prepare for a coming war. He said, we're preparing for it long in advance. And when the war comes, we're expecting massive civil disobedience. When that happens, he said, we, the police, and the military will be dealing with that unrest, and people like you, traffic wardens, CCTV operators, private security guards, will be brought forward to do much of the work that the police currently do.
But they're going to feel empowered by that.
Yeah. And a few days after I got his letter, contacted him, got him to send me the cards so I could see they existed, and I had to send them back, of course. I picked up the newspaper, and there was the story that traffic wardens were being redesignated civil enforcement officers.
I was pretty shocked after I heard you say that, and I actually went out and looked and saw it for myself.
And they were given some more of the powers that police did. And of course they brought in these community police officers, another layer of the police state. And then about, I don't know, 6 months later, picked up the paper again. There is a story that the British government had announced that they were creating a new type of person called an accredited person. These are, wait for it, private security guards, closed-circuit television operators, and other lower uniform jobs in the structure who were going to be accredited to become able to do some more of the work of the police force, including stopping you in the street, insisting on identity, handing out some fines. And in America, you've got Obama, through his election campaign, and now pushing this civilian security force that he says he wants to be as well funded as the Marines.
Yeah, to be as well funded and just as powerful as the military.
Yes, the military, yeah. And so all over the world, because of this structure I'm talking about, this transnational corporation type structure with the subsidiaries in each country, this is happening all over the world. They're using different names for their gathering police state, but the same thing is happening. And so more and more freedoms are being taken away. And another thing that they're doing, and again, people support this, they're bringing in hate laws around the world, and political correctness, right? Political correctness has nothing whatsoever to do with protecting anyone from being upset by what people say. And my goodness, you know, what are we going to do? If we're not going to ever upset anybody, I might as well just stare at that wall for the rest of my life. But that will upset me, so you can't even do it that way. What political correctness and the hate laws are about is to constantly and continually suppress what people can say and what views they have. I've posted something on my website today in which the head of the Human Rights Commission, human rights in quotes because that's the last thing it is in Canada, has actually said to government that the defence against an alleged hate crime of truth should be taken away. So if I say something about you and it's true, then it's still a hate crime.
Because it's upset me or hurt my feelings.
Yeah, or it's allegedly racist or whatever. Even though what I'm saying about you is true. Now, once you have truth being a crime, then you are into Orwell.
Yeah.
Because that's what he was talking about. And look at George Orwell. Real name Eric Blair.
Yeah.
Went to Eton. This was a man who operated in the system. He was very, very...
a good old boy.
Well, yeah, and he was very closely connected into political circles, right? He did not write 1984 from his imagination alone. He wrote it from an understanding of what the plan was, because this goes back decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, right past through and out the other side of the 20th century and well beyond, that this is all planned. And Blair Orwell knew what he was talking about. And funnily enough, for one term at Eton, he was taught by Aldous Huxley, who produced a book called The Brave New World.
Yeah.
The Brave New World, put together with Orwell's 1984, give you all that you need to understand A, where this conspiracy wants to go, because Huxley talked in Brave New World about the state control of children, taking away from their families and educating them in state educational establishments, indoctrinating and programming them, turning them into robots. And you put those two books together, and A, it will tell you where this conspiracy wants to go, and B, it will show you how far back. Even, you know, one was written in 1948, Orwell's book, or published then, I think, and I think it was about a decade earlier or more that Huxley's book came out, and they were spot on.